Have you ever had a totally normal month? Nothing crazy, just a couple takeout meals, a few subscriptions, and then you open your bank app and feel that little drop in your stomach because the money isn't there? You didn't splurge, you didn't buy a new phone, and yet it's gone. You think you're broke because you don't earn enough, but the math says that's not the real story. Most of us are quietly eating our own retirement without noticing. Today, we're going to put a number on it. $27.40 a day. That's about a delivery lunch and a couple of streaming services. It feels harmless. It's not. By the end of this video, you'll understand why that small daily leak can be the difference between staying stressed for decades or becoming the future version of you who doesn't check prices first. You're not bad with money. You've just been running the no plan. Money trickles out in tiny, invisible ways, and you only notice the emptiness at the end of the month. If that's you, breathe. You don't need a new personality. You need a simple system. My name is Bob. I spend way too much time doing the math so you don't have to. And today we're breaking down the 1 hour rule, the quiet dividing line between people who feel in control and people who feel like money controls them. Here's the first uncomfortable truth. The Latte Factor isn't really about coffee. It's about the small, comfortable purchases we make on autopilot. Ride shares when we could wait, $15 salads, subscriptions we barely touch, and the I deserve it dinners that just add up. These aren't moral failures. They're convenience fees on your future. When you buy them without a plan, you're not buying food or comfort. You're trading away time. Sometimes you are literally trading your freedom for a sandwich. Think about how that plays out in real life. You're standing at a counter or eating out of a paper bag in your car. The price equals what a sit-down dinner used to cost a few years ago. That value gap used to be small. It isn't now. And the restaurant meals? 2 plates and a couple drinks is $100. That's money you can never get back. It's gone the second the plate is cleared. But here's where everything changes. Let's put precise numbers on that invisible bleed. $27.40 a day is about $10,000 a year. That's just math. Now take that same $10,000 per year and give it time. Assume a long-term stock market return around 10% a year. Some years are lower, some are higher, but over many decades, that's the ballpark. Let it run for 40 years. That stream grows to roughly $4.4 million. You contributed about $400,000 total. The market did the other $4 million for you. That's compounding. That's why small leaks matter. Before you jump into the comments, let's address the obvious pushback. I don't have $27 a day. Fair. If that number triggers you, we're not starting there. We're starting with 1%. 1% of your income automatically. You won't feel it. Next month, move to 2%, then 3%. You ladder up until you hit the target. You don't wrestle with willpower every day. You change the default once and let it roll. Now, the 1 hour rule. If you work a 9 to 5, the first hour of your day belongs to you. 1 hour out of 8 is 12.5% of your gross pay. That's the slice you pay to future you before anybody else gets a cut. You set it to move automatically into a retirement account, a 401k with a match if you have it, or a Roth IRA if that fits your situation. This isn't a vibe, this is a mechanism. It reduces decisions. It works because you don't see the money first. Let's go deeper into the psychology for a second, because this is the part nobody talks about. You already work the first hours of your day for other people. Taxes take their slice, your landlord or mortgage takes theirs. Your bank wants the next 2 hours and interest and payments. Most people keep the last 30 minutes and then wonder why they feel owned by their bills. Reclaiming the first hour is an identity shift. You go to work for yourself first, then you rent the rest of your time to everyone else. That flips how your brain feels about saving. It stops feeling like deprivation and starts feeling like ownership. But Bob, what if I set it and still fail because I'm not disciplined? That's the point. If you depend on discipline, you've already lost. Discipline gets tired. Automation doesn't. Your payroll system won't forget. Your transfer won't have a bad day. The money must leave your account before you see it. When it does, you stop trying to save leftovers and you start funding a plan. Let's zoom back to that $27.40. Where do you actually find it? You don't start by cutting joy. You start by cutting waste. Subscriptions that quietly drain $1,000 a year for shows you barely watch, delivery meals that feel cheap until you look at the monthly total. Those are perfect places to pull dollars back without ruining your life. Cap delivery to once a week. Pause overlapping streaming services. Batch cook simple meals that don't feel like punishment. Most people can find more than they expect because the money isn't in one big decision, it's in 50 tiny ones. Here's a simple picture. Imagine a chart on the screen. The line starts slow, almost flat. The first decade feels boring. Then it curves upward and keeps bending. That bend is where most people quit, right before it happens. They look at their balance after a couple years and say, at this rate, I'll never get there. They're measuring in days. Compounding happens in decades. You don't need the market to be perfect. You need to participate and let time do the heavy lifting. If 10% long-term returns make you uneasy because you've heard different numbers, good. Skepticism is healthy. Drop the return to 7%. The future value isn't as dramatic, but the gap between spend it and save it is life-changing. The message isn't get rich fast, it's don't give up your compounding years. Let's tie this to everyday choices. Brand new cars, financed for years, are the quietest wealth killer most people defend to the death. The moment the tires hit the street, value drops. Then you pay interest on something that's sinking. A 3-year-old car still gets you everywhere. The difference? You keep the thousands. Those thousands become fuel for your first hour. Same story with designer logos. It's not about taste. It's about paying extra to tell people a story they won't remember tomorrow. That extra could be flowing into your Freedom account instead of your closet. You don't have to live like a monk. You can buy quality, but you can also stop buying the markup just to feel caught up. That feeling fades. The compounding doesn't. Now, let's finish the plan with something most people skip: friction proofing. Friction proofing means you remove every place the plan could break. If the 1% step up relies on you remembering, set a calendar rule that auto-raises your contribution the first paycheck of every quarter. If your bank has a transfer limit that sometimes fails, split the transfer into 2 smaller moves so one always lands. If payday changes, set the automation for day after deposit instead of a fixed date. Don't trust your future energy. Build rails. Next, define your no-think wallet. This is a separate checking account that receives your spending money after the first hour is paid. When it's empty, you're done spending until the next deposit. No judgment, no drama. The point isn't to suffer. The point is to make enough obvious. When you can see the bottom of the bucket, you slow down naturally, without spreadsheets, without guilt. Add one more layer, a tiny permission fund. $20 a week for guilt-free wants. If you want the latte, get the latte from the permission fund. This protects the system from rebellion. Your brain needs small wins. If you never allow any yes, it will find a bigger, more expensive yes later. The permission fund is a pressure valve that keeps the engine running. Let's talk about emergencies, because someone will ask, what about debt? What about an emergency fund? The 1-hour rule sits on top of 2 basics, a starter cushion and a debt plan. If you don't have at least 1 paycheck saved, direct part of your first hour there until you do. If high-interest debt is burning a hole in your pocket, aim half of your first hour at it and half at investing until the fire's out. The habit is still the habit. You get paid, you pay yourself, automatically. The split can change. The muscle stays the same. What about irregular income? Freelancers, commission, tips? This is where people give up. Don't. Your hour becomes a percentage of deposits. If you bring home $800, your rule is 12.5% of that deposit. If you bring home $2,400, it's 12.5% of that deposit. You don't negotiate with yourself each month. You let the rule scale with your income, up or down. The math adjusts. The identity doesn't. Let's add one more quiet multiplier: matches and windfalls. If your employer matches contributions, treat that like free bricks on your wall. It's not extra income, it's part of the first hour. And when windfalls show up, tax refunds, bonuses, gifts, pre-decide that a fixed slice joins your first hour. You don't have to send it all, even a third changes the slope of your line. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is direction. Here's how this feels in real life after a month. You open your banking app, the spending account looks smaller than usual, but your investment account finally looks alive. Not big, alive. You feel a little proud, a little calmer. After 3 months, you stop checking the balance after every grocery trip. After 6 months, you notice you're saying no to things without a fight. Not because you can't, because they're not part of who you are anymore. You're the person who works the first hour for yourself. Now the uncomfortable ending. Time is the heaviest lifter. If you wait 10 years to start, the math punishes you. Compounding is a snowball only if you push it early. The later you begin, the more you have to contribute to end in the same place. That's not a scolding, that's gravity. If you're hearing this at 22, beautiful, plant the seed. If you're hearing this at 45, start anyway. Give your future self the most time you can from today forward. The only bad start date is someday. Let's close the loop on identity. You are not giving up $27.40 today. You are buying something most people never get to own: freedom. Freedom from checking the price column before the menu. Freedom from saying yes to overtime you don't want. Freedom from the 3 a.m. spiral of what-ifs that keeps you awake. Money is emotional. This habit gives you the one emotion money should buy: peace. So here's your 2-step challenge. Step 1. Set a $5 auto transfer right now, not tomorrow, right now. Prove to yourself that you can make money move without thinking. Step 2. Schedule your 1-hour rule at your next paycheck. If your job offers a match, grab it. If not, route it to a Roth IRA. Then leave it alone. If this helped you see money differently, this channel is for you. Subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.